The word contemplation means complete, pure presence, being immediately awake and very openly alive to everything just as it is, to ourselves, to one another, to the world, and to the divine presence that is always lovingly available to us. This pure, all-inclusive, total presence of contemplation also implies direct and accurate responsiveness to the world, a spontaneity that is dedicated to God's Spirit and is radically open to anything that that Spirit might call for. Contemplation, then, means cutting through our impulses and our agendas and our conditioned behavior patterns, moving directly into the all-pervasive and all-inclusive lovingness of God. In a Christian context, contemplation is not a particular psychological state that we could create through some technique or method. Instead, contemplation is the transformative radiance of the mind of Christ, which is present always within and around us, constantly leading us toward increasing fulfillment of the two great commandments. Contemplation, then, is a gift already given to us, natural. It is a birthright that we have received as children of God. Our personal will, our personal and corporate intent must say yes to this gift, open to it, receive it. And most importantly, we need to pause in our compulsive drivenness that always wants to substitute something else for this contemplative presence. Therefore, contemplative practices and disciplines exist only to assist us in being more present and more available, more receptive, if you will, to that which is already given. It is very important to understand this. The practices of contemplative prayer and meditation will be distorted if we think of them in terms of success or of failure or of achievement. There is no practice, no discipline that can save us. Just as there is no knowledge or understanding, no insight or accomplishment, no ritual that can save us. Our liberation comes directly and immediately as a freely offered gift from God. And we can only hope to be receptive and responsive. When we decide to pray or to meditate, then, the simplest, most honest quality of natural presence is the best. That which comes to us naturally and effortlessly. The most authentic prayer, then, might simply be saying a few honest words to God, or just silently turning our attention to God. The most worthwhile meditation might just be being awake to what is going on here and now in the presence of God. No one can tell you what your true, authentic prayer or meditation should be. Only you can sense that in the honesty of your own heart. This means that the best technique or method of prayer is really no method at all. It is whatever is the most natural, honest and most immediate presence possible for you. It is you, the true you, being simply present and given to God. But such simplicity and authenticity often seems very far beyond our grasp. When we try to settle into that natural, effortless, pure presence, we find our attention becomes fragmented or dull, and noisy thoughts and agitation fill our consciousness. Then we cannot simply be. At those times when we feel we have to do something, then one or another particular contemplative practice may be helpful. From time to time, our needs for practices of varying complexity will change. Sometimes it's possible just simply to be. Other times, a very brief and gentle practice, like attending to your breath or silently repeating a holy word, may be all that's needed to help us simply be. At other times, when simple presence seems very far away indeed, a more complicated or longer-lasting discipline may be necessary. Remember, then, that a practice should never substitute for that simple, honest, God-centered presence. It should only serve that presence, lead us toward it. Further, if it's necessary to do a particular practice at all, it should be the simplest kind of practice that will be helpful, and we should only do it long enough to facilitate that presence. We should be able to let go of it the moment that natural, effortless quality of being is possible. So let us not cling to any practice because it provides us with good experiences or wise insights or because it's more comfortable than simple, radical, contemplative presence with God. To begin with, then, see if it's possible just for an instant right now, without doing anything special, without any extra effort at all, without any holding or trying or grasping or fleeing, just to turn to God in simplicity and honesty. See if that's possible, effortlessly, naturally, for a moment, now. As you sought simply to be, what happened? Perhaps that simple consecrated presence came very easily, and perhaps it was steady for you during that very brief time. If that's the case, then no practice is needed whatsoever. What is needed is simply gratitude, thanksgiving. Or perhaps you experienced a simple, immediate openness for a while, and then something kidnapped you, made you dull. Or maybe your consciousness was so discombobulated right at the beginning that there seemed to be no presence at all. Times like that, a little practice, a little something to do will help. All the practices that follow are simply examples of little somethings to do. when you need some assistance toward that pure, natural, effortless, direct presence. So be sure not to get attached to the content of these methods. And by all means, don't feel compelled to follow them to the letter. Remember that the simplest and the least is the best.